Thank you, and I want to thank the Minister for coming in to personally answer in relation to the really difficult situation in St Patrick's National School in Diswellstown in Castleknock in Dublin 15. This is a very successful and much-loved school in Dublin West with 808 pupils in 28 classes. This much-loved school, which was built at the height of the Celtic Tiger, is unfortunately riddled in construction terms with pyrite. And in fact, the building, as a consequence, that the children, the staff and the parents have to endure is no longer, Minister, fit for purpose. The school community, the staff, the parents, they've just suffered enough. This is a school that's patiently waited for your department, for the Department of Education, to address the problems which are causing the floors to buckle, the doors to go out of kilter, the roof to have multiple problems. I could go on and on. You'd probably need to visit yourself and be shocked at what you will see there in terms of the condition of this school. Minister, your department needs to have an immediate plan to provide for temporary replacement accommodation on the grounds of the school while a complete refit is actually attended to. We need all the pyrite removed from the buildings and grounds and not simply monitored, which is currently your department's position. I have to say, it's a school I know well from the day it was opened. But I was really shocked and appalled when I was taken around by parents and staff the other evening to say how dramatically worse the situation has become. We have had several schools with problems, unfortunately, in Dublin 15 in the last year. And two of those schools, St Luke's and Diswellstown, the department actually took action, and St Luke's is now completely restored, and Diswellstown is pretty much completely restored as well. In the meantime, Diswellstown is looking at this while their school is literally deteriorating and buckling before their eyes. Newer houses are being built in this area, looking straight across at the school, where the usher is sitting. And the builders are telling the families buying the houses, because they're very much family homes, that their school is going, that school is going to be their children's school. Already this summer, I'm told by the principal, some 20 pupils who are actually living in the area, have come into the area, have had to be turned down. The school also hosts 25 pupils with complex needs, of whom about 14 are affected by ASD. The school has no sensory room. It's using all the rooms at the moment, those rooms it can use, in order to accommodate the existing 808 pupils. Recently, the school was asked by yourself to have an additional ASD specific room. There's absolutely no difficulty with that. The school, like all the schools in Dublin 15, has always catered for a very wide variety of children, including children with complex needs. But where are those children supposed to go? The actual special resource room is up in a kind of an attic room with one little window at the bottom of it, over the school hall, which is shared with Fingal County Council. The floor of the school hall is buckling as well. Beautiful sprung beach floor. I'm not a builder, but even to my untrained eye, I could see that the whole building is in an absolute state. So I'm asking you, Minister, to prioritise the school, the children, the parents, the staff, to actually address these issues. I think you need to make provision for a temporary building
Minister,
on the
please,
grounds
you've got 5
while the
minutes.
school is completely redone.
Minister McHugh has 4 minutes.
I'd like to thank the Deputy for raising this matter and for providing me with the opportunity to update the House on the position with respect to St Patrick's National School, Diswellstown. I'm aware of the pyrite issue in the school and the health and safety issues to which it gives rise. I fully understand and appreciate the concerns of the entire school community and the need to address them as quickly and effectively as possible. The school was constructed by ABM Construction, ABM Design and Build under a design and build contract under seal directly with the Department of Education and Skills as employer. The school was completed in 2006. In July 2007, Fingal County Council became aware that the presence of pyrite had been identified as the source of problems in certain residential dwellings. The Department of Education and Science, as owners of the site and building at St Patrick's National School, Diswellstown Road, Carpenterstown, Dublin 15, had reason to suspect possible ground heaved by active pyrites at this school. This was drawn to our attention as a result of emergency remedial works required to free fire doors, toppling fitted furniture, etc. These works were undertaken by the original contractor. In March 2010, the department engaged a firm of structural engineers, DBFL, who confirmed the presence of pyrites in the building. The department has sought legal advice from the Chief State Solicitor's Office in respect of addressing these issues. Initial plans to remediate in 2014 were suspended on foot of legal advice. As this matter continues to be the subject of legal proceedings, I am not in a position to comment any further on the progression of this remediation programme. However, I can say that immediate areas of concern are being remediated on an ongoing basis under my department's emergency work scheme. The purpose of the emergency work scheme is for unforeseen emergencies or to provide funding to facilitate inclusion and access for special needs pupils. In that context, my department has approved emergency funding to address issues caused by the pyrite since 2016. At the same time, the school is progressing with its project under the additional accommodation scheme to construct 2 mainstream classrooms. Following a submission from the school indicating the presence of pyrite in the car park, the school authority was given permission to proceed to planning stage to include a car park extension. The school authority was requested to submit further detailed reports from its consultants in relation to the pyrite issues in the car park. The department sought clarifications in relation to some of the details in this report. When this information is received, it will be reviewed and officials in my department will be in contact with the school to progress the project. In relation to the expanding desire for school places in the area where demographic data indicates that additional provision is required, the delivery of such additional provision is dependent on the particular circumstances of each case and may, depending on the circumstances, be provided through either one or a combination of the following: utilising existing unused capacity within a school or schools, extending the capacity of a school or schools, provision of a new school or schools. The requirement for new schools will be kept under ongoing review and in particular will have regard for the increased rollout of housing provision as outlined in Project Ireland 2040. The Department will also continue to monitor areas where the accommodation of existing schools may need to be expanded in order to meet the needs of the local population.
Deputy Burton has 2 minutes.
Thank you for such a frank and honest reply, which indicates to anybody who reads the report the dreadful state of this school. It's as bad as anything in St Luke's and in Diswellstown. Maybe not the same level of danger. But, I mean, can I just reread the sentence to you? And how would you feel if your children were in this school? That St Patrick's National School, Diswellstown Road, Carpenterstown, Dublin 15, has reason to suspect possible ground heave by active pyrites at this school. This was drawn to our attention, that's yours in the department, as a result of emergency remedial works required to free the fire doors, toppling fitted furniture, etc. I don't know that any Minister for Education has ever had to read out such a damning report of the state of a school. And okay, I know these works were undertaken by the original contractor. Do you know that this September, the 2 small playgrounds, the courtyard playgrounds, where the young children play, and you know yourself how important being able to get out for a run in the playground and have a play is important for everybody from junior infants up who goes to school. Do you know, Minister, that they're now closed off? They're closed. The children have to stay inside and look at their playgrounds gone. The school has taken 4 classes into junior infants every year for the last 3 years, but they now have no space left. So in the coming year, they may be forced to take only 3 classes. And in view, as I've said, of the house building going on across the road, with the builders happily advising people that this is their local primary school, you have a real social difficulty
Minister, to
in the
respond.
area.
Minister, 2 minutes.
Yeah, look, I've studied this since you've raised this issue, and I know I've been speaking to a number of people about this issue in the department, and going back to 2006 to see that with a design and build programme, to see a school left in the position it was in is totally unacceptable. We're in the middle of that with our current impasse around WBS, and that's gone through the commercial courts, and we're also doing the international review of design and build. So that and from the Technological University in Dublin will be carrying out that work. So we've a litany of history of bad builds. This has been a horrible story for the community, the entire community that's had to live through this since 2006. I want to see progress here, and I know at the moment the department officials are waiting for the school authority to come back with them with their observations on the next stage for the planning for the car park. But I want to see this carried out with haste. I also want to see and to ensure that it's not just a sticking plaster. I want to see a proper job done here. My officials are keen to do that as well in the department, and it's only the right thing for what this school community have had to endure. And one thing I'll never stand over as a Minister of Education, and I think this was the first week in my job when I took this job post over a year ago, that bad practice, unacceptable building practice, it's something that leaves a very, very sour taste in my mouth, not least the communities that have had to endure this. And standards have to become, it doesn't have to be a bar that people have to reach, it should be an underlying fundamental of any building. And any building sites that I've worked on for private developments, mainly private developments, the importance of ensuring that they comply with regulation and law and standards, and architects and design teams having responsibility, and we can't accept anything less. A lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of malpractice, and I certainly want to see progress on this issue too.
Thank you.
Can I just say to the Minister,
Oh.
first of all, you'd be very welcome to come and visit the school, because I think you actually need to see what's happened here. This school has actually played ball with the department, and being honest, they've ended up being abused for their patients. What I would say to you is, Minister, that you first of all need to have your department buy the green strip and then erect temporary buildings while the complete refurbishment of the school is carried out.
Okay, we move on.